Okay, welcome back. Let's look at a second looping assignment. This one I think you're going to find a little bit interesting, not so much about the looping part, but about how we can control something, a picture box to move across the screen by using the left property, we'll say. So how to make something move left and right by using the left property of a picture box. So let's see what I mean. So I'm going to call this looping assignment number 2. Let's take a look here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture box. I'm going to put it on the screen. That picture box, while we have it kind of highlighted there, or the little boxes or the frame is on it, I'm going to change the back color instead of putting in a picture. And find the properties window. Okay, so the back color, I'll just probably go to that custom, and I'm going to make mine red. Okay, so the one thing I want to point out here, if you look at this screen grab here, I want you to picture every picture box kind of like a picture frame. And for us to make the picture box move left and right, we control the left frame or the left side of the picture box or the left frame. So there's actually, when we program a picture box, we can program the dot left and add 10 or take away 10 to make things move, or we can left and right, or we can program the dot top, which is the top frame, and add 10 or subtract 10 to make it go up and down. We typically, for movement, we can't really do the dot right or dot bottom, but that can be used for collision code. But there's an easier way to do collision code than that usually. So just the dot left of this picture frame you can see here, and we're going to use that today, this dot left property, and when we add to it, it should make it come across the screen. So what do you mean add to it? So let's take a look. I'm going to go back to the properties here, and I'm going to scroll down to location property. So if you ever ask your teacher, why do we have to know these Cartesian planes and all that stuff, X and Y axis, it helps in computer science class or computer programming. So right now, my X axis is 24, so that's the left to right. Now, if I move this to the left a bit, it's going to get closer to 0. And that 24, well, right now it's at -1 or 12. Let's see if I can get it to 0. 3, -1. We'll put it at -1. Just stretch this out a bit. So right now it's at -1. And if I move it up and down, you'll see if I move it up, it actually gets lower and closer to 0. And if I move it down, it gets bigger. So my X right now is at 1 and my Y is at 201. And you're probably wondering, well, I thought Y, if you went up, it went, when you go, I guess, vertically north, I guess, that it increases. It does. This is just kind of one, I guess you could think of the Cartesian planes in a quadrant, and this is just kind of this quadrant here. Let's just take a look at the location and how we can make this work. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a button in here, and I'm just going to call this button Go. There's a text. Let's call this Go. So what do we want to happen? When we hit Go, we want to start this loop that just has this fly across the screen, and we want it to stop at, let's take a look at mine. Watch my location again here. So here's my location property. It's at, the dot left is at 2, the x-axis. So for me to get mine across the screen, the dot left, for it to stop here, is going to be 367. So I'm going to put it back at 2, or at 0. There we go. At 0, but 367 is as far as I want it to go. So how do we do that? Well, this is kind of a different type of looping. We can usually, what I would recommend is you link it into timers that you did this past week. You could do looping. It's just looping happens so fast you can't control the speed of things. So if we were to do it with a timer, and we'll do that probably next week, we'll start doing collision codes and things on timers hitting each other. But if you do it with a timer, you could have things go very slow, very fast. You can control the speed. With looping, not so much because it's linked again to the computer processor, which computers are very fast these days. So this is how we're going to make it work. So we're going to declare dim. Let's do another one. Let's put at start position as integer. Okay, so dim start position as integer, and then start position. It's not a reserved word. Start position. We'll say 4 start position equals 0 2, and I believe we said, if I remember correctly, 368, and we want to take steps of 1, increments of 1. So we want to go from 0 on the left side of the screen to 368 by increments of 1. So every time the computer has a clock rate speed or can do a quick loop, it's going to move 1, I guess you could say, value. So it'll go 0 to 1, and then the computer will loop again. It'll go to 2. The computer will loop again. It'll go to 3. It'll loop again, go to 4. You get the idea, all the way to 368. So what we want to link to this, and I don't even know if I can use start position if it's a, yeah, we're going to have to change the name start position because it's reserved. You see it's underlined there. I'm going to change it to beginning. And I spelled that right. Beginning. Well, let's hope this works. I'm running out of variable names. So we want picture box 1 dot left to equal our beginning number. And I'm having some issues with the word beginning, but let's see if this works. Okay, so if I hit go, it goes at the dot left, this frames at 0. If I hit go, it's going to go all the way across the screen and it's going to stop. This is at 368. But you saw how fast it moved. I can't control the speed of that because the computer clock rate is pretty quick. So again, stop it. I'll play it again. Okay, so the dot left is 0. When I hit go, every time the computer can process, it'll go by ones, and then it'll loop again, the clock rate, and it'll go 2, then 3, then 4. But it happens very fast, very fast. Computers are quick, as you know. So we'll take a look. Goes to 0 to 368 that quick. So that's what I'd like you to try today. A couple of these looping assignments this week, and then what we'll do next week is we'll have these objects or something like this come across, and we'll look at collision code. So what happens when you hit another object, that's where you start getting into the fun stuff of programming games with enemies and things like that. So give this a shot this week. It's a 4-day week. See what you can come up with, and looking forward to talking to you all next week. That's it for now. Bye-bye.